Hi, welcome to Love Saranghae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. Today we're uncovering the secrets behind 3 extraordinary ingredients, transforming skincare as we know it: chaga, reishi, and black hoof mushrooms. These ancient powerhouses are steeped in history, brimming with benefits, and now they're at the heart of our newest formulas. So stay tuned as we explore the remarkable potential for your skin and overall well-being.
Yeah, Andrea, so this is a really great episode, not only because we are introducing our triple mushroom complex to our audience, but I think if we had this conversation 5 years ago, people would be like, huh? Mushrooms? But I mean, right now, if you even take a look at some of the Amazon or whatever's out there, mushrooms, especially reishi, chaga, and the black hoof, they're in coffee form, they're in tea form. Yeah. It's becoming really popular. And I'm proud of that.
In
North America, right? So we're going to delve into the science behind it a little bit. And, you know, I don't think we have to explain why, but we will explain why we're using the mushrooms in our skincare and why it took so long. So we'll delve into all of it. And I think it's a great episode for those of you who are interested in our new formulations, but also in mushrooms in general and why
health
it's so
in general,
powerful.
How mushrooms are there.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get started.
So as you all know, we've always had the black hoof mushroom in our formulas. It is my mother-in-law's secret zero ingredient.
She
from
knew.
More than 50 years old.
She knew 50 years ago. Yeah.
And we brought many aspects of her formula to what we offer you today. And as you know, we're always trying to innovate and, do better. We decided to add 2 more mushrooms to our formula. So, Peter, do you want to explain to our audience a little bit about why we chose these 3 specific mushrooms?
Yeah.
And what makes them stand out in skincare?
Absolutely. So the new formulation for our mushroom products contain a triple mushroom complex of chaga mushroom, reishi mushroom or reishi mushroom, and the black hoof mushroom, which is we've always had in our newest skincare. So to answer this question, in keeping in mind with our brand identity, which is Eastern wisdom meets modern science, I'll give you the Eastern answer first, and then the Western answer to kind of like back it up, right? So I've grown up with these 3 mushrooms forever, right? I remember what it smells like to brew these mushrooms in a stone pot and drink these black licorice-like liquids that smelled all funny, right? So, I would drink it every once in a while, but my grandparents, they would drink it every single morning, right? In fact, I think about the smell of the mushroom because Andrea it's just a couple of weeks ago, by accident, she brewed a concoction containing reishi, I believe chaga and reishi mushrooms.
Chaga.
Yeah, and we drank, and I'm like, hey, this is so familiar. I remember this. And like memories of my grandparents started coming around, right? So when I think about the smell of the mushroom tea, I think about my grandparents.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite like drinking it too much, but again, my grandparents loved it. And they told me it's good for health, wealth, and happiness.
They cover all the bases.
They cover all the bases, right? Mushrooms will solve world hunger is what they were saying.
Solve your life.
So for those of you who don't know, the nickname of the reishi mushroom or the reishi mushroom is the mushroom of immortality. That goes back a couple of thousand years back to ancient China, right? It's known to have a whole host of benefits, including immune and anti-cancer properties. And if you look at the ancient Eastern medicine texts, all 3 of these mushrooms are considered incredible, again, for health, wealth, and happiness. So this is the reason why we chose these 3 mushrooms, mostly because, I'm very familiar with them.
Well, now, can I just jump in and talk about that just for a minute? So as many of you guys know, I've been sort of struggling, but working to deal with the gut issues that I've been sort of facing the last few months. And I was told to drink a special concoction of tea, which is the chaga mushroom, boiled in water with cardamom pods, cinnamon, licorice root, and I think it's called astragalus or something like
Astragalus,
that.
yeah. That's also in our triple mushroom complex.
And then as well as ginger, like pieces of ginger and cinnamon sticks. And you boil that and you simmer that in a pot of maybe 8 cups of water over like 30 minutes. And you drink that at least once a day on an empty stomach, or, like after, like in the evening before you go to bed, for example. And it's supposed to be very, very good for the adrenal health. So your adrenal glands, your nervous system, just calming everything down. And so I offered Peter a cup one night, and he was like, oh my God, this is so familiar. My parents used to drink this. My grandparents used to drink this. It's just a funny coincidence.
Yeah.
But
well, okay, so keep that in mind, what Andrew just said, right? Because Andrew, you just basically said that it calms everything down. So I'm going to give you the Western answer of why these mushrooms are important to us or why we chose them. These mushrooms, all 3 of them, are adaptogens, okay? Adaptogens are natural ingredients that work at a molecular level to bring balance and regulate cell function. What does that mean? What does all that science talk mean? It actually means it helps our cells deal with stress. Yeah. It calms everything down, right? At the cellular level, which keeps them effective and healthy. That includes skin cells. So the exact mechanism of how this all works are still being studied, but it's the combination of antioxidants, polysaccharides, beta-glucans that all seem to kind of work together to keep our cells healthy. And I'm very familiar with these 3 adaptogenic mushrooms. As you know, we've been working on finding a way to incorporate these mushrooms for years. Like Andrea knows how long we've been trying to stabilize reishi, chaga, and black hemp in the same formulation. Yeah. We even thought about separating them, right? Having a cream of chaga, cream of reishi, cream of Saranghae. Obviously, that's not a great idea for SKU purposes and the number of products that you have to bring about. But the bottom line is we've been trying to bring this formulation to life for a long time. At least, it took 2 years for the formulation, but it was in my mind to do it for the last 6 years or so. And we finally got it. We've finally been able to find a way to stabilize this thing. And by the way, not every partner in Korea knows how to stabilize mushroom. You think Korea, everybody knows mushroom. For skincare. It doesn't work that way, right? Yeah. You have to have a specific knowledge base on how to stabilize fungi. And we were able to kind of create this together. And so we're very proud and happy to say that Saranghae is the only brand currently to be able to offer you the triple mushroom complex, stabilized, chaga, reishi, and black hoof mushrooms. That's it. And there's your reason why we went with them through those 3 mushrooms.
I think we should end it right there. That's like the best.
Done. Mic drop.
Done my job. Thank you for coming.
Mic drop.
Well, I guess what people will want to know, I think that's amazing in itself, but what our community is probably wondering is, what are some of the skin and health benefits? Well, we know the health benefits, we've talked about that, but what are the skin benefits? So what's it going to do to my face if I use it? And how do they work individually or together to create that effect?
Well, yeah, so so mushrooms are a collection of ingredients, right? So, for example, kojic acid comes from fungi. Vitamin A can be found in mushrooms, polysaccharides, again, antioxidants. So it's not that the mushrooms, only deal with fine lines or wrinkles or hyperpigmentation. They help in all that sense, right? They help in every sense of skin healing and reducing skin concerns. So again, these mushrooms are classified as adaptogens, natural ingredients that help our cells manage stress. They're all chock full of antioxidants, beta-glucans, polysaccharides. It helps stimulate collagen production, decrease inflammation greatly, and helps manage oxidative stress. They also contain omega fatty acids and ceramides, which help to build up the skin's moisture barrier, preventing water loss and keeping hydration within the skin. So individually, they work in slightly different mechanisms, different ways. So when you combine them, you get a whole wide variety of benefits in ways that you wouldn't get with one single mushroom alone. But just like our snail mucin, there are some mysteries in the composition that the science can't replicate or pinpoint just yet. There's something about nature that just works better than it should. So Western science likes to isolate the active ingredient and replicate it in labs or whatever they want to do. But what about all the ingredients working holistically together, right? So Western science hasn't been able to kind of pinpoint that magic that happens when nature brings forth all of its ingredients. What we do know for sure is that in Asia, we've been using these mushrooms for skin and health benefits for centuries. Like the Saranghae is in a document called the Donggui, I can't remember the name, but it's in a museum in Korea, and they spell out how to use Saranghae mushroom, and that for medicinal purposes, and that's 650 years old. Reishi goes back thousands of years, right?
And that's the black hoof mushroom that we have in our formulations.
Saranghae is black hoof mushroom, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
But here in North America, they're now just starting to study the actual ingredients that bring the benefits. Like Western medicine always wants to bring it down to the ingredient. Oh, this does, vitamin A does this, vitamin C does this.
That's how we've been trained. We've been trained to break it down and try to figure out what are the exact explanations for this effect.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we can learn a great deal about different ingredients and whatever. But the problem is you can't study everything. And there's some things in nature that perhaps are left to the imagination, are meant to be a secret, if you will. So,
and maybe it'll just take time before Western medicine finds it out. But in the meantime, we can still enjoy the benefits. Just like our body all works as a system in one. It's just mushrooms work the same way. There's some things about the mushroom, just like snail mucin, where the natural works a lot better than what the science says it should.
So what Peter's talking about with the snail, in another episode we talked about this, is that the scientists tried to replicate the snail mucin components, so the benefits you get from snail mucin without using the snail. So they're trying to replicate that ingredient in a vegan composition, and they could not do it. They were able to do the scientific part of it, where they had all the same molecules. Components, but the effect they could not replicate.
Yeah. So that was crazy.
So here we are again with mushrooms. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
They haven't been able to replicate the exact effect of these mushrooms together. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very
pretty cool. So as Peter's been saying, mushrooms have been used for centuries in traditional medicine. This is nothing new. And if you go to Asia and you talk about using mushrooms, they kind of look at you like, so what? Like, it's not new. It's not a big deal. It's very common. Peter's grandmother used to use them and drink it every morning. So can you share any Korean healing practices or traditions that inspired their inclusion in their products? Like what?
Well, I mean, first of all, it is kind of getting sad now. Like I go back to Korea and I see a lot of McDonald's, 7-Elevens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and obesity is rising, heart disease is rising, and the Koreans, as they get richer, and they want to be more like Americans and Canadians, they replicate the practice. Yeah, and so they're getting away from these traditional practices of drinking, mushroom. Little do they know that it's becoming more popular here in North America.
Yeah.
But
they're trying to be more like them.
Yeah,
and they're trying to be more like us.
They like to drink coffee in the morning now. They eat, they have like egg sandwiches. I mean, egg sandwiches in the morning. I remember going back going, what is this food? Like lobster with cheese? I didn't have cheese.
Even just cheese is foreign. It used to be.
Cows did not exist in Korea, right? So we had chicken and pork.
Cows didn't exist?
Beef was very expensive because you have to import it. Yeah, and so milk was non-existent. So cheese was non-existent. So the idea of having cheese, I didn't have it until I immigrated to Canada when I was like 8 years old. And then even then I was like, what the heck is this stuff, right? Actually, first I had Black Diamond stuff, so I didn't even have real cheese. I just had imitation cheese and Kraft singles. And then I had real cheese. I'm like, whoa, what is this stuff, right? So so Koreans have been missing out on a lot of the younger ones anyway, have been not following the traditions of the older. But traditionally in Asia or in Korea, we don't treat illnesses or conditions acutely. Like for example, let's say you have acne. Here in North America, a dermatologist might prescribe you isotretinoin, which is Accutane, adapalene, and maybe a couple of other things like benzoyl peroxide, and be done with it, right? You treat the condition. You have acne, so you give you this. But in Asia, we don't look at it that way. We look at things holistically, health holistically. Everything is linked together, right? So it starts with food and lifestyle. So how do we use the mushrooms? We eat the mushrooms. We drink these mushrooms regularly. They taste great. The mushrooms itself, when you put a little bit of, when you fry them up it's delicious.
Sad.
The tea is a little bitter. It does look a little intimidating because it's black, right?
But tea is black. If you think of black tea, it's black.
Yeah.
And it's yummy.
But
and you guys drink coffee, and that's black.
That's true. The smell is strong too. If you're not used to it.
There's no difference in me. I mean, I think coffee smells amazing, but I think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't drink it.
I love it.
Sorry.
But I've come
drink
to
the mushrooms.
Drink the mushrooms. And then we make it into, I don't want to say cream or gel form. That's a North America thing. Traditionally, the way we make skin ointments, I call it an ointment. That's what I'll call it. The way you do it is you put it into a stone bowl with a mortar and pestle. Oh. You put the ingredients in and some oils, like for example, safflower oil, maybe sesame oil, or maybe just water. And then you would grind it up. Okay? There are no preservatives. You have to use those ointments immediately. So the way we would do it is...
But imagine how potent it is.
Yeah. So we would put all of these ingredients, the mushrooms, into a stone mortar, and you would mortar them up, right? Mm. And then you would get them into a fine paste, right? Then you would use it immediately on our skin. And that's how you would use the mushrooms. And it was amazing.
I have to say, I would imagine, this is how I imagine your mom when she was coming up with that.
It's exactly right.
That concoction for your sister, your aunt, her sister.
Yeah.
I can picture her in the kitchen just pulling these mushrooms out of the ground and all this random different herbs and just smashing them together and see what happens and then trying them. That's how I envision.
That's exactly how it is. Because in North America, right, what how the cream or serum looks is important. So what you would do is you would filter out all of the filtrates. Mm. So the mushroom, you get the juice of the mushroom, but the mushroom itself, you could filter it out. But in Korea, back in the old days, we didn't used to do that. We used everything. Because that's where the power was, right?
No waste, I love that.
No waste. I mean, look at when I was growing up, I remember I was told not to eat egg yolk because it's high full of cholesterol.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Just eat egg whites. For a while there, people were using egg white omelet, egg white. And my mom used to say, all the good stuff, all the good shit is in the yolk. What are you doing? And I'm like, Mom, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Egg yolks, terrible, egg whites. And now we understand. Egg yolks, everything good is good.
Everything she said was true.
Everything good is in the actual mushroom. Don't
go
throw out
hug
the
your
mushroom.
Mom.
Yeah, I gotta go hug my mom. Listen, she knew about that black hoof mushroom 50 years ago. Yeah. Right? Now we're just getting to, mushrooms. Yeah. She knew.
So all of you go to Korea and do whatever the grandmas tell you to do. And you'll live 150 years.
I used to fight this. When I was growing up, I used to fight. Mom, you don't know anything. The doctors tell us this. Mom, you don't know this. I've studied science. I'm going back to it now. I'm like, Mom, you knew everything. Yeah. Remember what you said back 10 years ago? Let's talk about that again. Yeah. It's important for the business.
Come with a notebook and pen. Yeah. Okay, tell me everything.
Yeah. So anyway, the original ginseng cream looked at as well, but as time went on, it was easier to preserve and also to add, to apply, because nobody wants to have that smell of mushroom. Yeah. Nobody wants to have mushroom stuff. So gels, creams, and serums became a little bit more prevalent because you could also carry them with you, et cetera. And it looked better. Right.
Were there any unexpected benefit from the mushroom that you didn't expect or that you found out later on when you started playing with them?
So one of the things that I did learn later in life was the idea of microbiome, right? And mushrooms and fungi in general are well known for their health benefits. Gut and skin microbiome are one of them because good bacteria keeps them healthy. And guess what? Mushrooms are good bacteria. Yeah. So when you apply the mushroom cream on your skin, it helps our skin microbiome. When you ingest mushroom through tea and food, it helps our gut microbiome. It works in all ways. Right? So that's one of the things I learned. I didn't realize. That was a pleasant surprise to me. That it's a mechanism of explaining why it's so good for our skin. And mushrooms provide fiber. So if you eat the mushrooms, fiber is very important for good overall health.
Bowel movements when you poop gives you good poop.
And then it gives you good poop. Poop is important. We're going to talk about poop a lot from now on because it's very important. No filter.
Well, it's very important to the skin, as we learned in another episode with our holistic nutritionist, which you was soon.
No filters. We're going to talk poop and pee as much as possible here.
When you say it, I cringe.
Poop.
Stop.
Duty.
Anyway.
Yeah. And then the other thing, well, it's not a surprise, but, for example, kojic acid. Kojic acid is well known. 2% kojic acid with 10% azelaic acid is a well-known, which we're working on right now, by the way, is a well-known compound or complex for hyperpigmentation and acne.
Yep.
Kojic acid comes from fungi, mushrooms, naturally.
Yep.
Right. So, you look at the internet, you're looking at ingredients. I want to use this to help this concern. And in reality, it's been in our natural food and ingredients for centuries, right? So that's something we have to keep in mind.
That's true.
Incredible, right?
It's true. I think, the more we go back to our root and the more we simplify with less ingredients, less chemicals, and more from the healthier we'll be ultimately inside and out.
Yeah. And look, and so here's the thing. If anyone's asking me, like you're new to skincare or you're new to us and you're like, why should I try the mushroom skincare? Right?
Yeah.
That's probably the question that you're asking us right now. So look, the way I would say it is this, like brands and companies in North America like to isolate a compound, like vitamin A, retinol, give it a fancy name, right? Vitamin A, retinol, it's vitamin A. Kojic acid, vitamin C, et cetera, L-ascorbic acid. And sometimes they'll actually replicate it in a lab synthetically, which happens all the time. Why do you do that? It's cheaper and more homogeneous. So batch to batch to batch, you can guarantee the quality and efficacy and the concentration of a synthetically made ingredient. You can't do that in nature, right? And sometimes they can extract it from a mushroom as well. But in Asia, we tend to buy into this notion that we can't understand everything in nature just to enjoy its benefits, right? Like work in harmony. Work in harmony with nature, not try to exploit it, right? If I could say that. So I encourage those who are hesitant to try nature's anti-aging ingredients holistically because there's so much more to nature than the breakdown of their ingredients alone, right?
100%.
Also,
so well said.
Also, our products our creams are very smooth. They're beautifully luxurious. I love wearing them. I think you're going to love the experience as well.
It is an experience. I agree every night. So I use the triple mushroom complex, firm and lift, and the deep radiance at night. And I use the Aurora during the day. And both are experiences in themselves. But definitely my nighttime routine is a bigger routine. And I really look forward to putting on the deep radiance and the firm and lift because it feels so good.
And so, listen, that focus that our eye cream, I believe, is the best eye cream. The triple mushroom complex eye cream is the best eye cream you're ever going to use or you're ever going to try. I guarantee it. If you don't like it, I will give you your money back right there.
We do have a money back guarantee.
Yes.
That's how sure we are that you can have it.
I don't want to sell on the podcast.
We're totally selling.
We're selling. You're right. But it's worth selling.
It is worth trying anyway.
Look, but here's the reality.
That's it for today.
No, hold on. The reality is this. Okay, I'm going to admit I didn't like our old eye cream as much. The reason why, the Saranghae mushroom, the reason why is we had perfume and some added essential oils. It would make my eyes water. Yeah, and it would sting a little bit. And I didn't like the fact that it had perfume in it. Our new eye cream is so much smoother. It gives a little sheen on the eyes, and it tightens up. Like, it's temporary, but it tightens up. I feel the tightness around my eye area when I apply it, and it's so, so good. Has no perfume. It's non-scented. I find myself reaching for it every day.
Yeah, you didn't used to wear the other one as regularly, but you do this one.
I love it. Like, I look forward to putting it on. That's how much I love the eye cream. I'm a 50-year-old, 1-year-old Asian man.
Not that. You're still 50.
50, okay. 51 in 2 months.
We still have another 2 months.
Okay.
At the time of recording this. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Love Saranghae with us. Peter and Andrea, this has been a fun conversation. into the world of chaga, reishi, and black hoof mushrooms for us all. And we hope that you enjoyed being with us today and that it piqued your interest. And if you haven't tried them yet, and trying them, and if not, learning more. These natural wonders remind us that the best solutions often come straight from nature. So if you're as excited about these mushrooms as we are, don't forget to check us out online and pick up our newest formulas.
And drink more mushroom tea. Drink the tea.
Okay, bye for now.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.